From the philosopher Santiago. I treasure in my memory your gift of charity and your young heart's ease, and the dear honor of your amity. For these once mine, my life is rich with these. Carl Sandburg. Gather the stars if you wish it so. Gather the songs and keep them. Gather the faces of women, gather for keeping years and years. And then, loosen your hands. Let go. And say goodbye. Let the stars and songs go. Let the faces and years go. Loosen your hands. And say goodbye. We gather this hour to celebrate the life of Katherine Elizabeth Travis Barrett, one whom we have known, cherished, and loved, and we are so grateful for the ways that she enriched our lives and touched us. We meet here in the presence of death to pay homage to the spirit of life. We would make this hour love's hour, and these simple rites, love's confession. It is love's tribute that we come to offer today, love's immortality and love's consecrating power. And we gather in this good company of family, this great cloud of witnesses of friends, to offer our tributes for Katie's life. A life well lived, a life of grace, of caring, of character, of service to others, for making a better world, a beloved mother, wife, daughter, friend. We gather this hour with thanksgiving for all her gifts, that she entered into our world and graced our lives. The Spirit, so lovely and beautiful, whose death is too young, too soon, outside the natural order of things. From an ancient Greek epigram, it is not death that is bitter, for that all women and men death stands fated. But when before one's parents, the person's life has fled. It is love's tribute that we come to offer today, love's immortality and love's consecrating power. In our hymnal here at Community, there are words from George Odell. We need one another when we mourn and would be comforted. We need one another. When we are in trouble and afraid, we need one another. When we are in despair and temptation, need to be called to our best selves again. We need one another when we would accomplish some great purpose and cannot do it alone. We need one another in the hour of success, when we look for someone to share our triumphs. We need one another in the hour of defeat, when with encouragement we might endure and stand again. We need one another when we come to die, and would have gentle hands prepare us for the journey. All our lives we are in need, and others are in need of us. Then as a final reading, words of meditation, reflection that Marilyn forwarded to me that had been included at her mother's memorial, from the writings of Henry Scott Holland. Death is nothing at all. I've only slipped away to the next room. I and you are you. Whatever we were to each other, that we are still. Call me by the old familiar name. Speak of me in the easy way which you always used. Put no difference in your tone. Wear no forced air of solemnity or sorrow. Laugh, as we always laughed at the little jokes that we enjoyed together. Play, smile, think of me, pray for me. Let my name be ever the household word that it always was. Let it be spoken without an effort, without the ghost of a shadow upon it. Life means all that it ever meant. It is the same as it ever was. There is absolute and unbroken continuity. Why should I be out of mind because I am out of sight? I am but waiting for you for an interval, somewhere very near, just around the corner. All is well. The world is poorer with Katie's death. The world is so much richer for her life. We give thanks for our beloved Katherine Travis Barrett.
Nice little cloud of witnesses here. Thank you. Thank you all for coming. You honor Katie by your presence here today. Some of us have come hundreds or even thousands of miles, and some of us just a few, or a few blocks even. And for those who could not make it here physically, but are here with us in spirit, we thank you too. thank those whose prayers and meditations and good thoughts on Katie's behalf have helped her through the last year and a half. We thank the doctors and nurses and staff of Mountainside Hospital in Montclair and the Carol G. Simon Cancer Center of Morristown Hospital in New Jersey, and the MSKCC Basking Ridge Treatment Center in New Jersey, and Memorial Sloan Kettering Cancer Center in New York. We thank them for their skill and generosity and their kindness and their determination to win this battle for Katie and their refusal to give up. We thank those who have given abundantly of their time and effort, who drove Katie to her daily treatments in Morristown, or babysat Casey and Maggie, or had them over for play dates, or brought food for the family, or arranged special entertainment for Katie. Thank you, Steve Higgins and Jimmy Fallon, for these flowers. We thank everyone who made life a little easier for Damien or me, or who visited Katie at home or in the hospital or in the treatment center, or sent her cards or gifts or flowers to help keep her spirits up, or all of the above. There are so many angels here. I hesitate to name names knowing I'm leaving out many names, and some do remain anonymous, but I especially want to thank Cameron and Bonnie, Damien's twin brother and sister-in-law, for the hours and hours and hours of babysitting and emergency car trips made. And I especially want to thank my sister, Marcia, and her significant other, Jack, for flying in from Illinois last June to help Katie celebrate, it passes, give me a minute, her 39th birthday, and for flying in again in December while Katie was an inpatient for 10 days at Sloan Kettering in New York, and for being here today. And I especially want to thank my nephew, Katie's cousin Mike, for coming in from Illinois in February last year, visiting Katie and helping entertain Casey and Maggie, giving Damien a very much needed brief break. And then for flying in again this February, in a strange coincidence of timing, landing at Newark Airport at 9 a.m. on Friday, February 14th. Damien was at the airport with the kids to pick him up when I called. And Mike was the one who then drove Damien to Beth Israel in New York, where Katie had been taken by the paramedics who worked an hour trying to revive her, and who, after dropping Damien off, then drove the children home to New Jersey and stayed with them until Damien returned. Mike was a godsend to us that day, and to Damien that weekend. Thank you, Mike. I want to thank Damien's mother, Donnie, wheelchair-bound with multiple sclerosis, who, with her northern Michigan family, was able to make it to New Jersey just after Christmas. Their visit lifted Katie's spirits. Damien's mother couldn't be here today because she had a heart attack a week after Katie died. She's in the hospital now, recovering. Her younger daughter, Damien's younger sister, then went into premature labor 9 weeks early, and is now also in the hospital, in the same hospital with her mother on IV drugs, trying to keep the labor from progressing for as long as possible when it rains. I want to thank Gloria Amatrubi. Where are you? There you are, bless you. For the many hours she spent driving Katie and even me when Katie was no longer able to drive herself to treatments and to here and there, and all the other drivers and visitors, Monica, Julie, so many. I'm leaving out some very important names, I'm sorry. It's the best I could do. I want to thank my cousins, and Katie's second and third and even fourth cousins, for their ongoing support and their wonderful emails, and for their presence here now. Thank you. Where are you, cousins? Amy and Isabel and Stuart and Chris and Staley and Beth and Melanie and Jeff, thank you. And thank you, cousins, also Bill and Cheryl and Harry, unable to be here physically, but with us here in their thoughts. Where is Sue? Hiding. She does that. I want to thank Sue for my building, for her ongoing comfort and support, and for bringing me her wonderful homemade soup every Sunday afternoon. And others for my building, the building where Katie grew up, many of whom have known Katie since she was born, and many of whom are here today. We four, Damien, Casey, Maggie, and me, for whom Katie remains the center of the universe, are very deeply grateful. Gratitude was one of the qualities Katie had in abundance. And today is all about Katie. Mostly about Katie. I can hear her laughing now, saying, "Yes, Mom, enough thanking people. Today it's all about me." But it's always all about me, right? Humor is another quality Katie had in abundance. We will be hearing from other speakers several stories involving Katie's sense of humor. She kept it just under the surface of most of what she said and called upon it frequently. She did laugh often and love much. Love it. Love. Katie certainly had love in abundance, given to her and given by her to most everyone she knew. Katie loved her family, close and extended, and utterly adored her children, Casey, now 6½, and Maggie, now 5. She loved her, quote, brand new car that's all mine. And as she said last summer, I love my little house in the country. Thank you, Damien, for giving her those things. Katie's other loves. Katie loved music. Loved it all. From classical music, opera. As a student at LaGuardia, she was able to attend dress rehearsals at the Met. That's the Metropolitan Opera, just across the street from LaGuardia. At one of those rehearsals, she met Luciano Pavarotti. Oh my God. She has his autograph. Katie loved music of all kinds, from ragtime to the Grateful Dead, and much in between and after. Boy George and the Culture Club. I I remember hearing Boy George way more than I ever needed to hear Boy George. The Beastie Boys, Aerosmith, Alice Cooper. When Alice Cooper signed her arm one night in front of what was then the Bank Street Cafe across the street from where we lived, she wouldn't wash that arm for a week. And oh my goodness, she loved the Rocky Horror Picture Show. She was one of those kids who dressed up as characters in Rocky Horror and went every week with her high school friends and talked back to the movie. And went sometimes with her college friends and talked back to the movie. And even dragged her cousin Mike and her mother and her Aunt Marcia to a midnight high-volume Rocky Horror Picture Show and made us sit through the whole thing. Katie loved good food. For months during treatment, when she couldn't swallow, she watched those horrible cooking shows on TV. Katie, isn't that a bit masochistic? No, she said. I'm living vicariously. It's virtual eating. She loved good food, especially Italian food. Italy, another love, a passionate love. More about that later today. And she loved her friends. Katie was a faithful, loyal friend. From Sharita, her first best friend from nursery school, through Nicole, her very best friend for 20 years, and all her friends and best friends before and since. Thinking of Katie and her friends, I'm reminded of the Mary Had a Little Lamb nursery rhyme. After the lamb followed Mary to school one day, making the children laugh and play, the teacher turned him out. But still he lingered near, waiting for Mary to appear. The fourth verse, which not everyone knows, is this. What makes the lamb love Mary so? The eager children cry. Oh, Mary loves the lamb, you know, the teacher did reply. Love works that way, doesn't it? Love does not die. Love does not die. Love surrounds us. The love which from our birth over and around us lies. Maybe we're on this planet in order to learn how to love, it's a thought. Maybe love is the dark matter glue holding our galaxy together. Maybe love is the core of the universe. Maybe God is love. Love is certainly eternal. Ask me sometime and I'll tell you a story about how I know that to be true, but not now, because today is all about Katie. Katie, as the person we can see and hear, is gone from us for now. We mourn our loss. I would say to those whose beliefs enable hope in the face of despair, do hope and do believe. And as a word of encouragement to those without much hope, the universe is a very big place. 14 billion years or so is a very long time. Use your imagination. Don't put limits on the universe and its possibilities, or on eternity and its eternity. And that's only this universe, this time, this one heartbeat of God. Enough, Bone. Okay, kid, enough of that for me. This is all about Katie. And we honor Katie in the highest by loving one another.
Thinking about Katie, who grew up here in this congregation, there's so much, including her and Damien's wedding. It included a reading from the Velveteen Rabbit about what it means to be real, and a poem for E. E. Cummings with lines, the image of sunlight and singing, welcome your coming, and the music. And one memory is of her singing the following piece by Mozart for one of our worship services when she was a senior in high school. We have an impromptu recording of that made by Damien, Katie singing it at a friend's wedding. The higher quality recordings, I think, are downstairs, but it does show off her classically trained voice. Voice we'd love to hear forever. I invite you all to call Katie to your mind's eye, to recall in memory a time, a place, feel again her presence in you. And as we remember and celebrate, I call first upon Marcia.
Tough act to follow, right? I can promise you this, mine is a lot shorter than Marilyn's. I timed it and it's just under 4 minutes without blubbering. We don't know with blubbering. My sister asked me to speak today. Then she told me what to say. Marilyn, I will include the birthday story, but first I have a few memories of my own to share. Michael and Katie grew up together more as siblings than cousins. Some of my visions include Katie's very first ice cream when she was only 6 months old, lovingly given to her by her Uncle Bob. Katie and Mike every summer climbing our mother's crabapple tree. Katie and Mike singing off-color songs in the back seat on the way home from music camp. Katie learning to drive with Uncle Bob and driving through the stop signs because, after all, no one was coming. Katie driving Michael's truck. Uh-oh, it's stick shift. Katie driving Jack's van all the way to Wisconsin. Fortunately, we didn't know about that one until it was all over. Katie kayaking with us in Door County, paddling along while her mother said, "Katie, paddle on the port side. The left, the left." Katie saying, "I am paddling on the left." "Oh, now I'm paddling on the left." Katie, Marilyn, and Mike and me, all in Italy for Katie's 21st birthday. Then Mike and Katie going out, and Marilyn and I worrying about them. Katie saying several times during wedding preparations, "Remember, it's all about me. Remember, it's all about me. Remember, it's all about me." But birthdays were all about the birthday child. When Mike and Katie hit 16, our mother said, "They're getting money. That's what they want, so they're getting money." So Mom sent money for their birthdays every year. In 1994, Marilyn and I took over that tradition. We sent money wrapped in the strangest and most varied ways we could find. $20 bills stuck in wind chimes, which Michael didn't find for a long time. $20 bills wrapped around candles. How did I know that wax melted in June when it went through the mail? Fortunately, the bank replaced her red $20 bills. There was money wrapped around John Deere toy tractors, money stuffed in spice bottles, money wrapped in baby toys, and so on and so on. But one of our best memories, and the one I carry close to my heart, is last June. Katie's doctor, in the course of things, and after an exam, had said, "I've never seen anything like this. It's as big as a lime." So we called the beast the lime. When Jack and I arrived for Katie's birthday last June, I had her money carefully concealed inside neon straws, stuffed inside 9 limes. She also received a large rubber mallet. That evening, we were outside with our camera phones taking pictures while Katie and Casey smashed limes on the driveway. But I had packed the neon straws so tightly that the money tubes squirted everywhere when they were hit with the mallets. So there we were with our phone flashlights, 5 adults and 2 children hunting in the dark for straws full of money. It was a good time. And I would ask all of you to remember the good times.
And Sharita.
Write something several times, and each time I tried to write something, Katie told me to stop. Because she knew I was better at just talking. I knew Katie. She was my first best friend ever. We met when we were 2 years old at West Village Nursery School. And I've known Katie my entire life. We went to nursery, kindergarten, elementary, junior high school. The first time we were ever separated was in high school. Not only would we go to school together until high school, but every day we would walk to every single one of the schools we went to together and have class together, and then walk home together. And then once we did our homework, got on the phone. To the point where Marilyn would come in, and Katie would be on the phone, and all I would hear is, "Hi, Sharita, Katie has to eat dinner now, and I'm sure you've been on the phone for hours." So that was my life from 2 until Katie went to LaGuardia and I went to humanities. And even then, we were separated, but we were always still together. I'll never forget going to a choral performance that Katie had at LaGuardia. She was like, "Just come, just come. I know you don't know anybody, but just come." And I went and had the best night with her and all her new friends that she had met in high school. And even after college, we reconnected. And I knew about Casey and Maggie. She knew about our little boy, Baron. We would always touch base. And I always thought that even when we were older, we would touch base. I miss her. And that little girl down there is always the one I will see when I look at my friend Katie. I'm so sorry. I tried to come up and tell her my story. And I just wanted you all to know that I'm sure you know already. Katie was just like a light wherever you went. And I remember anytime I was having a hard time or something was going on, she would say, "Sharita, don't worry about it. Between the two of us, we'll figure it out." And I'm going to miss hearing that.
David, please.
If I have a daughter, I will name her Katie. And when she is 5, she will go to PS3. And I will say, when I was 5 and I went to PS3, I met your Aunt Katie. And we went to PS3 together. We went to IS-70 together. We went to LaGuardia together. And we didn't go to college together, but we stayed in touch across the continents. And when we graduated college, we stayed in touch. And I will tell little Katie about her Aunt Katie, who loved to sing and who loved opera, and who was probably the warmest person I've ever met, and who, like has been said, was full of love and full of light and laughter and just a tiny bit of, I'm not going to take none of your crap. Which was good. Because it's something needed to be told to you to help you improve your life, or help you support yourself, or help you get over yourself. Katie was there to tell you love. And she would let you know again if you didn't listen. Because Katie really cared about everyone. And my sisters, who only knew Katie through me, were in tears over the phone when I told them. My parents were in tears when I told them. And they would all be here, except they're flying in various places today. But Katie's reach was that far. To know Katie was to love her, and to feel loved by her. Sometime after college, during one of my visits to New Jersey, Katie said, I want to say something to you. And I said, okay. She said, you know, I'm sorry if I was mean to you in high school. I looked at her and I was like, what? You weren't mean to me in high school. And she was like, no, I was mean to you in high school. And I was like, okay. Thank you. And she was like, but you did kind of deserve it. I was like, okay. And she was like, but I shouldn't have been mean to you. I should have understood where you were coming from. And I was like, well, we were both in high school. She's like, I know, but if I hurt your feelings, I'm really sorry. And it sounds funny, but no one had ever done that. And when I, got home, taking the train back, I was like, oh my God. That was really beautiful and touching and heartfelt. That she had taken the time to think, maybe she had done something that really hurt my feelings that I was carrying around or something, which I wasn't, but and she wanted to take the time to make sure that I was okay. And that was Katie. To really be sure that you were okay, and to make sure that you were supported and that you would succeed. And Katie lives on in those two adorable little children, and she lives on in all of us because we remember her and we have her in our hearts. And Katie was loved.
Thank you. Henry.
Like Sharita, I also had to struggle with something to write. But I did it anyway because, I wanted to make sure that I got this right and Katie deserved it. Because when Marilyn originally called me and asked me to talk about Katie a little bit from the perspective of high school, I thought to myself, what a minefield. And I only say that because, as David's last story there again kind of illustrated, high school is just such a nightmare of a context because it's where so many of us can be at our worst. And you know what? It's because we're at that place where we're starting with that tension in life of what we want from life and who we are and what we can realistically make happen. And that can be so unfair to some people. But with Katie, that wasn't the case because so much of what she wanted from life ended up being just perfect for the way that she was. Because, you know, let me start by going back to, you know, when I first met her. I wish I could sit here and tell you the exact moment. All I remember is that it took place in a history class with a teacher who was, for those of you who remember him, just a ridiculous human being. And I'm sure I don't need to say his name. He was just an absurd individual. And our friendship started where so many things started with Katie, which was with laughter. You know? Just if you could share a laugh with Katie, you were like peas and carrots. And you were like peas and carrots from then on. And her laughter came in all sorts of varieties, but the two best ones were the big one that took over a room, or the other one that I liked that was equally powerful, which was the one that retreated into itself, like an exploding black star. It just kind of, you know, but the thing about, trying to get back to the point of what I was saying about, bear with me, I swear I'm going to get through this. You know, that laughter opened the door for you to start realizing that it's that love that we've been talking about all this time. You know, she really didn't go for much. She went for music, she went for food, but what she went for more than anything else was just people. You know, she wanted to be surrounded by people that she enjoyed the hell out of. And when you found yourself on the receiving end of that enjoyment, it was tough to not just love the hell out of her. Because she was charming, she had charisma, she was gregarious, she was funny as hell. And to just be part of that was a blessing that you can never replace. And you know, I take comfort in the fact that you start to see glimmers of it already. And those two kids sitting right there. And it's going to be a shame that, you know, we won't have that anymore, because the thing was, Katie didn't just collect you. You know, some people go through life collecting people. It's names on a register. And she didn't do that. I can't tell you how many times she proved how much she cared about every person in this room, including people that I couldn't even remember. Katie and I relived that Geico commercial with the owls more time than I can count. I heard from so-and-so. Who? You remember? Who? And the thing was that she didn't just, you know, care about you, but she embraced you. She knew about your struggles. She knew about what you were celebrating. She knew what was going on in your life, and she never, I can't think of a human being that she lost track of. And that is a remarkably admirable quality in this day and age. And for those of you who are young in this room, this is before the days of Facebook and being able to find somebody online. She did not lose a single human being. And she was, for those of us who remember her from high school, she was our glue. She was the center, you know. We were in her orbit, and we were glad to be there because we didn't get lost. And so, it's a shame that she's gone. But I would just try to tell you, please, if you're going to try and keep her spirit alive, just remember a few things. And that's do what she did. Don't lose track of people. Give a damn. Stay after them, even if they fall off your radar. Give them a hard knock in the chops when they deserve it. And always be willing to pick up where you left off. That was the other thing. I mean, you could not see her for 3 months, and the minute you saw her, it was like, yeah, that's where we were. That's just a beautiful thing. And if you can do that, then at least for a few minutes, maybe it's like she's still here.
Thank you, and now Nicole.
I am so grateful today to be surrounded by so many people who loved Katie and with whom I can share my laughter and my tears. My name is Nicole, and Katie has been my best friend since her freshman and my junior year at Sarah Lawrence. I've been doing some agonizing about what I feel is the most important message that I wanted to express about Katie, and what story that I can share that sums up our relationship in particular. And the one thing I keep coming back to again and again is that the best stories about Katie are completely inappropriate for you. I was really stuck. It would be no surprise to anyone in the room that Katie's sense of humor was bawdy. Her laughter was raucous and unladylike and involved cackles and snorts. We all remember it and we all miss it terribly. Katie was never happier than when she was the center of attention and making everyone laugh. And I, in particular, have been laughing for 20 years. Sometimes while shaking my head in disbelief, but laughing nonetheless. At Katie and Damien's wedding, I made a maid of honor speech about Katie being my best road trip buddy. And that remains true to this day. No matter her time constraints or obligations, Katie always made time for girl trips to the beach, and occasional nights out to dinner, or a concert where we could be young and carefree for a couple hours and make dirty jokes and sing and laugh. We always called each other my hippie soul sister. And in that way that is special to dear women friends, she was indeed my soulmate. Katie was my champion, and I was hers. In addition to the precious memories that I am left with, I am also so grateful that Katie has bequeathed to me her network of family and friends, who have become my friends as well over the years. We are the ones who are now charged with keeping that laughter going. And I will be grateful to anyone who would like to share a funny Katie story with me after the service. In that way, we are her legacy.
Thank you. Thank you.
Good afternoon, my name is Monifa. I first want to thank both Marilyn and Damien for extending the invitation to me to speak today to pay tribute to Katie, who was one of my most dear and cherished friends. Not a day goes by that I'm not reminded of her beautiful smile, infectious laughter, warrior spirit, and her passion for life. I wanted to share a few quotes I came across that I think will resonate with many of her friends who are here. Each friend represents a world in us, a world possibly not born until they arrive. And it is only by this meeting that a new world is born. Anais Nin. Truly great friends are hard to find, difficult to leave, and impossible to forget. G. Randolph. Only a true friend would be that truly honest Shrek. Like for many of you, Katie will forever hold a special place in my heart. She was one of those friends who could always make me laugh. As Marilyn would say, she had a wicked sense of humor. Katie and I could talk about anything, and she would listen without judgment. She always spoke her truth, and she made you face yours. I can picture her now throwing her head back, laughing and curled up on my couch. Katie was effortless to be around, and we could and did talk about anything and everything. I do not believe in coincidences, but I do believe that people come into your life for a reason. Katie and I attended the same junior high, I-70, the same high school, LaGuardia, where we both started our sophomore year and studied classical voice. But I was 3 years ahead of her. But the funny thing is that we didn't meet until years later when we were both mothers, transported and stranded in the Garden State. Katie and I met at Music Together class in Montclair. We would later commiserate about the abundance of snooty and boring women in town. Katie was anything but that. I remember wondering, who is this woman who knows all the songs and who was rocking out in a Sesame Street t-shirt and putting a little extra oomph and wiggle into all the dances? It was obvious if I was going to befriend one mother in that room, it would be her, because she was undoubtedly the coolest. I remember Casey would zoom around the circle, exploding with energy, enticing my son Trevor to join in. And they would both stand in front of the mirrors watching themselves. Katie never got wound up about it like I would. She would just go with the flow. She often thought I was uptight and worried too much and that I should just relax. I could use her reminding me of that lately. Music and our children brought us together, but it was Katie's generous, compassionate, and exuberant spirit that fostered our friendship. We both share tight bonds with our mothers. Marilyn, I know how much Katie loved you. And I love to see you and Katie banter with one another. I still think you two should have had a TV show because Melissa and Joan Rivers have got nothing on the TV. Damien, Casey, and Maggie, thank you for sharing your fearless, wonderful, and divine goddess with me. Katie was devoted to you all, and you were the center of her universe. To Casey and Maggie, may you always carry in your heart the knowledge that your mother loved you both very much and absolutely loved being your mother. May you know her incredible courage, adventurous soul, and kindness. She passed these gifts on to you, and may you carry them throughout your life. You both are a testament to who she is. I will never understand God's plan to take Katie away from us. The only thing I can do is honor her. If you were friends with Katie, then you know she truly wanted the best for her friends. I learned from Katie to live with passion, to laugh out loud like no one's listening, to dream big, and to stare adversity in the face without fear and with courage. I was blessed that Damien arranged for me to see Katie the Monday before her passing, and I got to say many things that I needed her to know. I needed her to know that cancer was something horrible that happened to her, but that it in no way defined who she was. I needed her to know that I loved her, and that she was one of the most remarkable women I have ever known. When I left that morning, I never thought it would be the last time I would be with my friend. In the back of my mind, I held on to the belief that if someone could win this battle, it would be Katie. She could, and she would do it. A few months ago, when I drove her to Basket Ridge, a song came on the radio. I don't remember what the song was, but I was humming along quietly, and Katie said, "Sing out, I want to hear you." Katie, I will forever be singing a song for you. I will sing out loud for you, my friend. I love you, and thank you for your true friendship.
Thank you, Marilyn. Thank you, so many friends. This circle of love and laughter. There's so many stories. I would invite a few who would like, who want to share a moment of memory, place, or time with us, to come forward here with those words. We also will have time to share our stories on in the reception downstairs. But if there's someone now who would like to say something, please come up and share your thoughts, your love.
Hello everyone, my name is Selma. I won't bore you with my last name. Katie and I met in September of 2010 at the playground in Montclair Community Pre-K. both of our sons were born a month apart at the same year of hospitals, and our daughters were also born a month apart from each other, and they're 14 months apart. Again, born in the same hospital. She kind of looked at me, and I think she thought of me to be one of those snooty mothers that doesn't really talk to anyone. The issue was that I am not. I was just it was part of depression, and she honed in on it, and she saw it, and she recognized it, and she diagnosed it, and she walked up to me, smiled, and I was a goner. I will forever love her for that. And then she leaned in and she said, "You know, you should try Prozac, it's really good." As you can imagine, we became really, really good friends. I loved having her in my life, and I will continue to have her in my life because I have Damien, I have Marilyn, I have Casey, and I have Maggie to remind me of her. And there's a poem that I found that I gave to Damien by Margaret Mead that I found because sometimes it's the loss of words, and I just think this seems like a good representative of what she would like us to say about her. Remember me. To the living, I am gone. To the sorrowful, I will never return. To the angry, I was cheated, but to the happy, I am at peace. And to the faithful, I have never left. I cannot be seen, but I can be heard. So as you stand upon shore, gazing at a beautiful sea, remember me. As you look in awe at a mighty forest in its grand majesty, remember me. As you look upon flower, admire its simplicity, remember me. Remember me in your heart, your thoughts, your memories of the times we loved, the times we cried, the times we fought, the times we laughed. For if you always think of me, I will never be good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sitting this way, I can see how many, and it's not surprising. I'm Joanna Vasquez. I am Henry's wife, and the two stories that I have in my head that just popped up was I met Henry in 1995, and when you have to meet like the parents of your significant other, that's usually the nervous time. When he told me I was about to meet Katie, I said, are we ready for that? I knew before I even met Katie that she was a huge part of my husband's life. And I said, okay, I have to make sure that she likes me. And if she likes me, then we're golden. I was more afraid of meeting Katie than his parents. And it was one of those things that once again, and I had nothing to worry about. When we met, she embraced me with open arms, and she was like a sister to me as well. My sister's also here, and she understands that how better my life was, that not only did I get a wonderful husband, but I got a wonderful friend. And the second thing was, in terms of the story, Katie was the best man at our wedding. And it was constantly people coming to us like, why is she the best man? She's the best woman. How does that work? And I said, if you know Katie and you know my husband, you know why. All right? There was no other person that will stand next to him, and I didn't want anybody else to stand with him. And I had to actually get a bride's man to kind of even things out. So it was a great wedding, but the best part of that wedding, and just like it's
all about me. Now, weddings are supposed to be about the bride, except for the bouquet toss. Now, we had the Monday Night Football theme, you know, and I didn't know how appropriate that song would be when I threw the bouquet. Now, I threw it behind me, and she had the chandelier. And I said, oh no, it didn't make it to the girls. I'm gonna have to do it over. Nope. All I heard was a shoo. Down went Katie, and she caught that bouquet like literally 3 feet in front of everybody else. And I mean, it's like my sister knows it. There was a roar in the reception hall, like a standing ovation. Like, you know, and I had to think that Damien's name was on that bouquet. All right, because she knew. And I have actually pictures where they're a little blurry because they tried to catch her while she was driving. And it was the best, and when we got the call, it was the first memory that popped up. And you know, my wedding and our lives are only better because we knew her. And I also said to my husband, I said, we have a daughter, we might think we're a baby. Yes, little baby? I think so, because I'm the boss. So, but I tell you this, that to know her was to love her, and to love her was to have a better life, and we will miss you. I will miss you, Katie, and know that I will keep your spirit alive in our lives.
Thank you.
Hello, everybody, and for those of you who don't know me, I'm Miss Macklin, and I need no microphone. And this is my best friend, sister, and cohort. This is Brown. We're both preschool teachers at Montclair Community Pre-K. And I was lucky enough to have Katie first in my class because I had my wonderful KCP. And Katie is everything that everyone says here, and I am so glad to have had the pleasure of knowing her. And even though she's left the pre-K with both children leaving, I will always remember her smile, her grace, her beauty that radiated not only outwardly but from within. And I remember when she came and told us the diagnosis. I'm like, yeah, so what? God has a plan. You're going to be fine. And I don't believe it. And just, you know, I'm going to keep you in prayer and do what needs to be done. And she always just had, the thing that amazes me is her whole outlook through the whole thing. She lived for her family, and she just wanted her family to be well, happy, and healthy through it all. And the love that she just radiated throughout is something that sticks with me forever. When I'm out of sorts and not the happiness that everybody thinks I am all the time, I just remember her and her struggle and how she faced it. And all of us here should remember that. When you think of Katie, all you can do is smile. And I thank you for sharing the pow-pow fish, my world classic favorites, read to us by Katie and Damien.
That was one of the best things. But for me, Katie, it was at first it was a little tough for me because I had, you know, Maggie, and I was like, oh, I'm going to do, oh, she'll be fine, she'll be fine. You know, she gets a little, you know, she gets the PMS mood. That's for us women, George. She'll be fine, just go. And she was, all I want my kids to be is to be great people and to love everyone and give love back. That's all. And I said, wow, that's good. I don't know if we could teach that here in pre-K, but there's not that many kids. She said, but that's all I want is for my kids. So she said, and one thing after, she loved her husband and her kids. And she gave it back. And when the diagnosis came, she came and I was like, what? You gave me? She said, girl, yeah, that's what I have. And she came one day and she gave me a scarf, and I was looking, I said, you look fantastic. She goes, it's the scarf. I said, no, it's you. It's just the scarf. And she goes, yeah. Then she goes, but you know what? She said, Miss Brown, God makes no mistakes. I said, you're right. Because God takes the best. He brought you in this world, you did your job. Now you're there for him to spread your joy. And you've done it. You brought beautiful kids in the world, you have a great husband. Thank you. And at the pre-K, that's what she brought. She would come in, bring Katie. Katie would come in with it. She's like, Katie would smile. And she'll move on and she'll be fine. And I said, thank you, because she was focused back. And she hugged me. So the love and joy spread out. And it's great. God makes no mistakes. He brought you an angel. He sent his love and he's there with you at all times.
Thank you. We have two more for that.
My name is Dawn. I think I met Katie when I was about 6. She was one of my first babysitters. I met her here at Community, and the memories I have of that, her jumping on the bed with her and laughing. I just have really fun memories. And one other thing, every Christmas Eve we sing Messiah here at the church, and there are a lot of mother and daughters that sing in the choir, and Katie and Marilyn were one of the mother and daughters, and me and my mom. And whenever I'd see her, she'd just make this joke about how, like, you know, when you grow up in a spiritual community and people see you grow up when you're a little kid, and every time they see you, they either ask, like, how's high school, how's college? And she's like, it was 10 years ago, you know, and she'd always make that kind of joke. And I just want to say, I know today is about Katie, but I really want to thank Marilyn for those amazing emails and keeping us all in the loop and letting us know everything so that we could send that energy and thoughts to Katie. So thank you, and thank you to Katie.
I see it also. I'd add at least 2 other of the mother-daughters who would sing today.
I'm Eugene Newbound in this group. I think my only claim to fame is that I happen to be Nicole's father. And so I experienced Katie over the last 20 years, but not tall. She'd show up at the house every once in a while. Amy came with the kids to see the fireworks in Nyack, and but I only really knew her in passing. I only really got to know her intimately through Facebook. Somehow I wound up on our Facebook page. And by the way, one of the things that hasn't been said enough about her is the outstanding courage of this young woman. So one day, and Reverend, you will forgive me, you will all forgive me, I opened the Facebook, and there it says, "Fuck cancer." I said to myself, my God, this is a woman with great strength, great heroism to face this thing as a young woman in such a way, in the way that she did it. And as a cancer survivor myself recently, she was right. Fuck cancer. I'll always remember her for that.
Thank you. Sincerely. Hers was an enormous witness to courage and to love and to care. So thank you all. And the hour grows long. We'll have opportunity to share downstairs during the reception hall. Katie is not with us in body. She is here in spirit and laughter and love. And Marilyn and family Damien and family will be in the chapel to greet folks, and the receptionist in the hall next door. And please join after the service is over. We've gathered here to offer love's tribute to celebrate love's immortality and love's concentrating power, I invite you now into the spirit of prayer and meditation. The spirit of life, God of life and love, whenever death comes, we feel that pain of loss, yet remain thankful for every companion, such as Katie, who may have touched our lives and brightened our days and blessed our souls by her presence. May the thoughts of this moment be those of tenderness and gratitude. Tenderness because of our pain and loss over her death. Gratitude for a vibrant spirit. If there be tears this day, then let there be generous tears and laughter and joy for her life. We hold in our hearts and our love, our support. Go to Damien, and to Casey and Maggie, and to Marilyn, to the entire loving family gathered from near and far, and those who cannot be here. May the memories of our times together be healing and give us comfort. And may we be ever grateful for life such as hers. Dear God, Spirit of life, hold our beloved in your tender mercies. In the midst of the mystery of death, we hold faithful in our trust, confident that beauty endures, that goodness reigns, and that thy other name is love, that blesses, heals, and comforts. Amen. Life ends, and life goes on. Much perishes, but love abides into each new day. The body of our beloved is now returned to the elements from which it came, earth to earth, ashes to ashes, dust to dust. We go forth in the sure knowledge that her life and her love continues in us, her works abide upon this earth. In love and gratitude, we commemorate our life and the years of our companionship. May our grief and our gratitude be freely spoken among us, and may the same peace into which she has entered be in our hearts as we remember her, now and always. Amen.